We're here with Dan Farber, who's just been named new editor-in-chief of CNET. Is that right?
Of News.com.
News.com.
CNET
CNET News.
Crave and Webware.
So what does that mean, Dan? Are you going to blog? Are you gonna still blog?
I'm still going to blog, but it means I have to go to a lot more meetings.
Right. And, do nothing, right? That's what editors do?
Well, no. I like to blog in meetings if I can.
Oh, excellent.
Keep the meetings short. So I will be a bit of a bureaucrat, but I think that's what it takes to get things done.
So now that you're, running a big tech news site, what do you think the big stories are this year and trends from your perspective?
I don't think it's changed much since last year, which is we're looking at these big consolidations going on in various parts of the market, such as we saw in the enterprise market space around the business intelligence software. And now we're seeing consolidation coming over to the consumer side as Yahoo and Microsoft do their little dance.
Mm-hmm. And what a dance it is.
And as well as we're seeing the social web coming into being. And we're here at the Graphing Social Patterns Conference and eTech, and I think the big theme here is that the social web, which is the web of people and data, it's really starting to come together even more.
Right. Any worries? I mean, monetization is still a concern.
Well, monetization is a big concern, and especially in this economy, it's going to be even more of a concern.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that where things are headed is that. It started with Facebook Beacon, where there's this notion like every individual on Facebook could be kind of their own marketer, so to speak. And I think that's going to come back in some fashion. I think, as Charlene Lee from Forrester said, that every individual has a possibility to have their own CPM or their cost per thousand, as you would as an advertising vehicle. So we'll see all kinds of different models, I think, pop up where the user experience is such that it doesn't make people feel like they're pimping for products, and yet trusted networks will tend to have influence and be different ways in which marketers can reach consumers.
Any worries about the hype or growth? I mean, there's been some flattening and some less usage, and a little bit of the hotness is off of it.
Well, I don't think that's very meaningful at this point. Certainly there's always reaches a plateau before it picks up again, and I think that just weeds out the outliers. And it may be that some of that downturn could simply be seasonal. It could be and I think in the case of Facebook, it may be because they had performance issues. So a lot of reasons for it. But I think that the big difference is that social network, as opposed to being something unique and special and outside of the core of the web, is going to get driven into the core of the web, and so that everything on the web is going to have something social attached or embedded in it.
And any other important stories this year?
This year coming
We don't
up,
talk about widgets all next year, please, for the love of God.
Well, I think we will be talking about APIs and algorithms a lot if you're very techie. Other than that, I think we'll be talking about just this notion that consumers are having more impact on what gets delivered to them, and that they're having more control over their user experience. I still don't think we're very close to that.
And your prediction on Yahoo, Microsoft?
Well, I'm still believing that Microsoft will end up with Yahoo. It's just that the dance is going to take longer as Yahoo tries to figure out basically, how long it can hold out, because there is a deadline coming up in the middle of March.
Right, the Ides of March.
Regarding, the Microsoft being able to get some people on the board. It'll probably get extended. But I think that one of the things we just learned today was we had a story where it turns out that there's some board members that are shared among Yahoo and Microsoft.
Right.
So we have the non-executive chairman of Yahoo, Roy Bostock, as well as Carl Nashi, who both are on the board of Morgan Stanley, and it just so happens that Morgan Stanley is also the banker for Microsoft.
Right.
As well as Sue Decker and Bill Gates being on the board of Berkshire Hathaway.
Right,
so
exactly.
Some interesting connections there. Who knows if they will amount to anything.
Right, it's the same 12 people running the internet. I know you know that already.
Yeah,
now,
as well as you.
Yeah, now any other big stories you're interested in otherwise at News.com that you think are going to be critically important this year? Companies? What company do you think is going to be the most interesting in the next year?
Well, I still think Google's really the most interesting company to watch, because they were born of the internet, and they don't have a lot of baggage to carry around, and they're very smart. So I think they're certainly interesting to watch. I also think that Microsoft is clearly interesting to watch, in the sense that people sometimes count them out as being slow and lacking in the savvy it takes to be on the internet, but I think people are really wrong about that.
Okay, anything in cell phones? Last question.
Cell phones, smarter, faster, smaller, cheaper, better.
Great.
And certainly, as we've already seen, outnumbering almost any other kind of device, including desktop PCs.
And Apple? Final question.
Apple, good question.
Yeah.
I think that Apple may have peaked to some degree, because the challenge for Apple and Steve Jobs is they have to keep coming out with these hit products.
Right.
And at a certain point, you kind of run out of those big hits every quarter,
right.
and everybody else starts catching up, and Yet I still never would count Steve Jobs out.
Absolutely not. Dan, welcome to your new job.
Thank you.